Hey kids, welcome to Southbound, my student film. We had 6 weeks to do boards, character design, backgrounds, all the animation, effects, like the whole shot. So, it's bad. It's so bad. Little extra disclaimer at the beginning. So I'm really mean to myself in this video. Like I keep calling my work trash and garbage and stuff like that. And I just want to say that I'm not calling myself trash. And I know that this is not the worst thing ever. Like there are some pieces that are okay about it. And considering the time constraints I had and the skill level that I was at, I mean, this is the best I could do given what I had, the circumstances I had. But I think it's okay to make fun of yourself, but not to hurt yourself. So if you're the type of the person that you're calling yourself trash and you're hurting yourself, don't do that. Given whatever time you have or whatever skill set you have at the time, you're just doing your best. And even if it's not the best, it's your best. And that's great. And it's not going to be your best 10 years from now. This was 10 years ago. So looking back, there's so much stuff that if I could do the same thing now, which I'm going to do, I could do it so much better. But I'm not being mean to myself. I'm having fun. So, and if you're at a place where even like this much is beyond your capabilities, like you don't even know how to animate a character in the first place or open software or something, don't feel like I'm saying that anybody at this level is trash, because that's not the case. So I was just having fun, but I noticed that I kept saying these like terrible things to myself, and I just want you guys to know we're having fun, okay? We're not being mean. And and in the future, if I'm ever going to critique somebody else's work, I would never do this to somebody else, okay? Unless they were my friend and I knew that they understood that was my sense of humor. So don't go telling people their work is trash. And don't tell yourself you're trash. You're not trash. You're great. So, enjoy! Ta-da! So you can see how bad it is while I just talk over it and tell you some of the news kicking around. So there's no sound while it's playing because I don't know how free the sounds were or anything like that, but there was no dialogue in it, so it doesn't really matter. And this way you can really appreciate how bad the animation is and you're not distracted by the bad music and leveling that I also did. So, now that I found this short film, today's episode is going to be me critiquing it. And it's going to take a few snippets because I tried to import the entire thing into Harmony and my computer is just not having it. It's like, no, this is like 5,000 frames long. You're not doing it. So I broke up a few of the really like the best pieces I can critique just because the characters are a little bigger. Because it's like a recording of a recording. Quality is not super great, so I can't really critique the small stuff very well. But I mean, every shot in this could be better a lot. So we got lots of stuff to play with today. It's probably a good episode for anybody who's interested in improving posing or talking a little bit about timing, stuff like that. This is the show for you. At the same time, I am going to do that stream thing. I just downloaded open broadcast software last night and I got my artwork ready and stuff. So I might try a stream in the past for when I'm posting this video. So I might do a Friday night stream just to test it out. I'm not going to do a big announcement about that. But Monday night, so tomorrow, after this is posted, I'm going to do my first stream, I think. I'm like 90% sure. I have to double check. My husband's schedule's all messed up that day, but I want to do a post on Monday. So keep an eye on Twitter or in the comments here or Facebook, all the things, and I will post before I do that. So we're looking at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time until maybe 10, maybe 11. Maybe I'll do 2 hours. We'll see how it goes. I might stay longer than that, but let's say minimum 1 hour from 9 to 10 Eastern Standard Time. I think that's it for announcements. Oh, I will be streaming. I'll be trying to stream on YouTube and Twitch at the same time. The YouTube thing, I'm finding I'm having a little trouble at this point, but we're going to work out the bugs on my test stream tonight, hopefully. I almost just died checking on my own spit. This is going to be great to do live. I'm totally prepared. I think I've talked long enough to play over that. Okay, so let's start here. The ferry comes in and stops. It's sort of a slow out there. Oop. And then she stops, though. And I'm sorry for the poor quality. If I render it, it's a little better. But I think you can see the movement of the ferry. She stops. She's pinned to this background here. Bunk. And then she rotates. And she doesn't even have wings. Wasn't she supposed to have wings? Tracy, this is Travesty. So with a flying character, you're going to want a little bit of hover or direction. Because I think even a hummingbird is going to do a little bit of movement as it's doing its thing. But the real thing I want to look at in this part is this head turn of this dragon. This is there, look at that. That's a 100% even cutout rotation right there. Yeah, the neck's not involved. It's literally just the head cut off the body and rotating. Bad. So if I was going to do that, you should, I mean, at least have the neck involved a little bit, have it slow out or something like. So we're going to get into the closer up stuff. This is a terrible drawing. So this is a cutout rig. I think that's pretty clear. But let's just draw over this monstrosity here. What I'm going to do, so it's a little easier to see, I'm going to drag in a new drawing here. And I'm just going to just do a little bit of white like that. And then we can turn it up. So it's sort of graying out our character. Now drawing over it, you're going to be able to see it a little bit more clearly. Oh, so where do we start? Okay, first of all, the perspective on her head is trash. It's super skewed. So if she's looking down, we're going to do this. We're going to actually take her head into account. So this is exactly what I was talking about when I did my head turn, the head tilt video. Her head, she's supposed to be looking sort of up like this, but her head has just been skewed forward. So I took the circle of her head and I went, Mer. Like now she's looking down. But it's not. Her ear, I mean, what are you? Her ear should be over here. There we go. And I'm not staying on model here because there is no model. So then she has kind of a bouffant because that was super hip at the time. And she has this cute little lightning hair, which I don't think was a bad choice. I think my ideas for the character were okay. It's just the execution was awful. So we'll think about the body position here. We're giving the body a little shape like this. And we can get that arc like that. Our boobs would be down here somewhere. I think she probably would have done better with sort of the Disney chest where there's not really any boobs. It's just kind of an indication rather than an actual like circle bit like this, more of an iconic boob. And then of course these elbows are just trash. So we need to think about where our arm comes off of our body here, and then this part would overlap like this. And she's trying to be a little bit like, shy. So I think I'd even want to tilt this down more. So this one down and this one up. So she's got a little bit of an angle there. And then this hand is just backwards. Like the fingers are stretched in the wrong direction. And even this hair, it's skewed as well. So we're getting this same circle skew motion on the hair. Should be back here somewhere like this, because she's meant to have this big old crazy fairy hair. So I'm just gonna bring this over here and mix it up a little bit more. Just gonna get rid of that boob altogether. Alright, so this is slightly better technically, but it's still not a super great pose overall, because she's saying hello. She's supposed to be sort of shy, so at least her shoulders are a little bit involved now. So they're coming up. Because there's absolutely no shoulder movement in this character at all. This was the second character I'd rigged in my life, so that had not occurred to me at this point. Oh, and then she's got her little goggles. Something a little bit more like this. But hopefully you can see the skew in this face, and just the line breaks. There's so many. You can see the crisscross here. What is that? Because your fingers go forward like that. They don't bend backwards. Unless they're broken. This elbow, you can see, is really just messy. There's a lot of just slop. Oh, look at that. Boop, boop, boop. Look at that disconnected shoulder here. So this character is supposed to be flying right now. She's just hovering. She's perfectly still. I could have thrown in a little, like, bob cycle. That's totally quick to do. So here, this one arm is moving. There's a blink. Like, there's just not enough movement for this to be warranted. Oof. Oof. Like, yeah, I know you're in a hurry, Tracy, but geez. Oh, and here I tried to, involve the shoulder, but I didn't move the lower arm. What are you doing? That can't happen. The shoulders are moving, the hand is moving. So this is an example. In the Mickey short, I showed you where you can use holds where the whole character still except an arm. This is not that case. Her shoulders are moving. That's an integral part of your torso. You can't move your shoulders and keep your head and neck perfectly still, and your trunk of your body, and your lower arm, which is connected to your upper. What are you doing, Tracy? You can't hold that still while this is moving? How does that make any sense? Look at those hands, yeah. Did I have a whole arm as a substitution here? Like I didn't have a separate hand? How is this a thing? How is this happening? Gunk, gunk, gunk. Okay, so here, let's just mechanics-wise, let's get ourselves a darker color so we can really get mad at Tracy from the past. I hope you guys feel a little bit inspired right now. You're like, oh, this girl made it as a professional. Yeah, I can do it too. Alright, so here, what can we see on this background? Nothing. It's the worst background in the world. Here, I gotta slow out because I feel like, hey, I learned my animation principles. I'm great at this. So then our hand is coming down here. This logo, by the way, is the logo for the school I went to, Max the Mutt. Don't blame them for this. It's a wonderful school, and I really love my time there. I really bit off more than I could chew on this. So there you can just see, oh, look, what? I need more. I need to extend my frame here. Like everything is so slow. So from here, where she turns and I mean, her lower arm's not even moving. It's just stopped moving. So the lower arm's coming down, dead stop and a shrink. So that's just the worst. And it's still at a dead stop. And then even timing. Even timing. The lower arm here stops. So this angle here, if you watch there, it's going to stay the same. And then the upper arm is rotating. Clunk, clunk. Ooh, this elbow, and this drawing is just bad. So even if these in-betweens were fast enough to hide some of this boil, like this, then this drawing here, once it starts to hold, this should be good. So she could bring her hand up pretty high, not too much so that it gets tangled up in this, and then do sort of a thumb. So like, hey, give it to me. I know, I need that. Moving on. Oh, this turn. Ambitious, Tracy. So her body turns and her head is still. This is, again, not the place for this. I thought I was being so clever. And look, her hair moves. That's secondary action. Yeah, I read about that in a book once. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Bloop, bloop, bloop. So her head should move. And even if she's keeping her eye on the dragon, if her body is turned this much, if her neck is this way, then the dome of her head has to be connected to that back here. Tilted this way. I still need to bring it over quite a bit. Maybe get away with that much. But I think we really have to turn it at least some. And I think, like, my idea for the pose had merit, but I couldn't pull it off. Like, I didn't get these shoulders involved here. And then we could, you know, really get this straight here. And just a little more care when it comes to connecting the shoulder here to the chest. Because the muscles here come towards the front. Like your shoulder's going to be coming in front of the body here. If I group, you can see it's kind of just slapped on. And if you're doing a very simple show, this is something I want to talk about. Because my designs, I draw more people-y shaped people. So if you're working on something like a Cartoon Network show, you can see Dee Dee doesn't have any shoulders. Dexter doesn't have any shoulders. So you can get away with her shoulder coming out of her head like this. But this style of character, see, she just has a little poof for her shoulder. This is just kind of tucked in under her collar. These have much more, even this one, they have much more room for these shoulders being not correct, or just more of an iconic simplified situation. Something like this, you have to be a little bit more careful about how the shoulder lines up here, just because it is a little bit more complex. But if your style is in this realm, this Cartoon Network sort of thing, you can get away with so much more. And this is something that I really wish I was better at. I feel like my logic brain just gets in the way of these really beautiful types of cartoons. You need to learn how to simplify. You switch to this kind of thing, so you have to be a little bit more careful with these bigger shoulders. Bigger shoulders are always a little bit harder. But because my character is fairly human-shaped, I have to consider real anatomy when I'm cleaning this stuff up. The overlaps are considering actual anatomical structure and stuff. And that's just a thing that my style needs, just because it is so much closer to a real human shape. Everything should have been better. I mean, even her face was a little bit wider and squatter because I was paying attention to her proportions. Like, you'd still a little bit more like that. Get this eye. Get this eye inside here. And so bring her eye inside of her head here. Make sure she has a forehead. I think my initial design, it was just too rushed. Because nowadays, I'd make sure I have a really solid design on her face. I'd take a lot more time on the rig because it's going to save you time when you're animating if you're doing kind of a hybrid or a cutout. I just every frame I just want to fix it. It hurts my heart. More of the same. So here her neck should be coming forward. That's one thing you want to keep in mind. If you're standing looking at a sideways human, boop 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 boop. People are a collection of these rhythmic shapes. So your neck actually goes forward at the top like this. Your torso, your rib cage comes forward at the bottom. So you've got this boop, boop, boop. Your hips go like this. Then your knee comes forward and your lower leg goes backwards. So your body is a collection of these shapes stacked one on top of each other, and that's why we're able to balance, is because every single piece is a counterbalance to one another. And if you're looking at a forward facing person, look into contrapposto, the old master's sort of drawing, our body is going to do that from the front too. So our shoulders will counterbalance our hips. So if you're trying to figure out a pose and you want it to feel balanced, play with the idea of these rhythmic back and forth. Here, this goes this goes this. And then your balance is going to be here in the center of your neck. Wherever your feet are, so here you've got a little foot, here you've got a little foot. These are not great. Hopefully you can see what I'm trying to get at here. So if you do this, and you crisscross the feet, that's where your balance is going to be. So you crisscross from the heel to the toe, and wherever they cross, that's where your neck needs to be so you don't fall down. So if you have one foot out here, and one foot over here, and then your hips are here, then your neck has to be somewhere over here to make that a balanced breakfast. And I mean, this is not a good drawing, but this leg is way too short. So that would have to be bent as well to get the length. But that's a super handy tidbit to being able to find out where your balance is on your character. It's approximate, and it might not be 100% true, but it's a great place to start. Okay, so that was kind of a tangent, but it's gonna be a long long video. So her head should be this way. Your shoulders connect. The way I like to think about it is like, if this is your neck and this is the front of your neck, this is the back of your neck. You're thinking in 3 dimensions here. So this is a plane going through your neck. This is where your shoulders connect. There's no curve to this body. Like, like there's just nothing from a cartoony standpoint. So what I would probably do is something a little bit more like this. So this form drawing stuff, like the stuff that I went over in the Learn to Draw Effects video, all this stuff comes into life drawing too. Every type of drawing is connected. So never shy away from drawing a thing you don't like to draw, because you don't know how much it's going to help you draw the thing you're trying to draw in the first place. Draw everything. And then we could really try and clarify this hand. And then it's just kind of her slowly moving. Look, I'm moving things. Keep alive, keep alive. It isn't keeping alive. I'm angry too, dragon. That's some bad art. Let's get another clip. Okay, so the first part, she flies up, stops dead, and then turns left. This part, there's everything wrong with it. So here, she's going straight, 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 straight. She dips to the right. Boop, boop. And no ease in. No ease out. She just moves over slightly for no reason. It's very awkward. Then she stops dead. Hey, there. Boom. She hits a wall. She just stops. No ease out. No hover. And I think my plan was to have her look around, but I didn't have time for head turns. And I didn't cut to another scene because I already had so many scenes. But now looking back at it, let me just cut out these frames. So here she hits the wall on 107 until here she starts flying over. And she just, it's a 90-degree turn. Boom. I'm up. I'm going over. No. But if I just cut these out, boop. That's better. I mean, it's still bad. Throwing the curve in like this would probably not have been wasted effort had she curved around just even a little bit. But just taking out those 30 or 20 frames of just stillness makes it better. Even this part is long. We could probably cut out 50 frames here. So she's just flying up over the ridge and bloop. Better. And then she flies off screen. She doesn't... There's so much just blank here. Let's just get rid of that. So now the scene is boop and over. And it's still long. It's longer than it needs to be. But it's been reduced by about half as many frames, and it's already better for no actual drawing work. We're just getting rid of stuff that's useless. Here, another one. Look at this holy actual poop. So the zoom in here before she enters the screen is 93 frames. Let's get rid of about 70 of those. So now we have a little bit of a zoom in. That's plenty. You see it's a big old flower. It's got sparkles on it. It's half of the whole screen. I mean, it's a flower. You can see it. And then she flies in, and that takes way too long. Yeah. This part is where we really gets good. I'm sorry for the bad quality. I don't, like, there was no HD version of this that I know of, and I had to record it off a VLC video player because it was done in some weird Mac movie program format. I don't even have a decent format of this thing. I was not looking to keep it. So here the fairy's flying in. She's got this bad hair cycle, and this part there's just no flow. Here there's a nail interface. Right here. Boop, 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 boop. And then she just pops over. So it's not that she stopped. She slows out and then pops over here and then goes over, vertical. Boom. No arc. There is no arc here, people. let's just follow it through. So we'll just do her hairline here. Boop, up, boop, boop, over, back, forward. I'm gonna lose track of which way this is going. How long is this? Most of the biggest problems with this short is that everything is too long. If I'd taken the, like, if it was in Maya, okay, this has almost an arc. Oh, okay, we're gonna get to this. But you can see, just by following her hairline, there's no arc here. There's lots. I don't know. And all the parts do this. So here, if you look at her butt, boop, boop, big jump, stopped. It just stops there. So it's moved this much and then stops dead and then moves over. So there's 2 frames here and then moves over. Okay, so she's going somewhere. Oh, there it goes up, 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 slow up until it gets to here. And then boom, over again, and then down. So it's starting to get a little bit of an arc towards the end there. You can just see there's a lot of stop starts, and boom. A lot of staggering and stuff. I wish the quality was better. Okay, let's get rid of this. So now let's talk about this. I wasn't able to use one rig for these 2 things. I don't know why. I had a flying rig and then I had a not flying rig. What happened here? Look at the pants. If I move out, the blur isn't as painful to look at because it is quite blurry. But just look at her pants. The first pair are kind of like this. And then in the next one, it's like the 90s, like oversized shorts. Oops, fitted, huge, fit huge. Boop, boop, boop. The hair goes from this shape to a triangle with nothing in between. It's just this massive pop. So this is a mess. And then the hair, oh, look at that follow-through action. Rotates slightly. And she stops dead. So boom. Watch this arm here, this place here. So it's coming in, there's no movement at all in the arm, and then pop, and no movement again. And her hand changes. Can you see that? Let me just move into these pixels. See the hand change? It's hard to see with this, but it does, just for no reason. So plot your arcs. Don't make everything take way too long. Ugh, we're gonna move on. I feel like if I had to go from here to here, it would have been better to take this, get rid of it here, so she's flying down, and then just have this start off as a settle, or have her arms start coming up here, and then she's settling into the pose while grabbing her goggles here. I think that would have been a perfectly reasonable cut to make and an improvement overall. So here, she's grabbing her goggles, boom. So the wand is in front of the goggles, wand is behind the goggles. Hair has lines on it, hair has no lines on it. Boop, 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 boop. The strap here disappears. The hair changes because I had a different hair overlay to get these goggles off, but I had no way to transition them. So again, if I'd started here as she was flying down, here as she's starting down, if she'd started to pull off her goggles, so she's flying in, she could have grabbed her goggles here, and then I could have already had it at this position, have this settle so her body's moving, because her head is moving, but her hair is not moving. You see that? Her hair is just part of the background. So let's fix this pose, because this pose is a travesty to life itself. First of all, her eye is just detached from her head. It's like sticking out like this. So if you have character design where that's part of the design, there's plenty of stuff like this where the eye is outside of the thing, but it's a more of an iconic style. My character's not cartoony enough to get away with this sort of thing. It's just not a good design in general. But it's just, you're stuck having to do something a little bit more structured if you design a character that's more structured. And I've never been good at designing very simple things. I absolutely love Cartoon Network stuff. I love that simple, iconic style, and I love to animate that style. It's just, I'm so bad at designing it, I always throw in a bunch of anatomy and garbage that doesn't need to be there, and I completely kill a character in the process. So here, when your shoulder, okay, so here's a body, here's the neck, and so here's the arm. So if you rotate your arm 90 degrees like this, any farther than that, your clavicle needs to come along for the ride. Your shoulder actually locks in to your clavicle, and then your shoulder comes up. So I can leave my shoulder down and put my arm this high, but I can't raise my arm any higher than this, than horizontal, without my shoulder going too. Do it yourself if you have arms. You just can't do it. It's not possible. The bone locks in. There's a little like lip here, and it just says that's as far as you're going. So because her arms are raised higher than horizontal, her shoulders need to come up too. The rules of life necessitate that. And if you're doing something in a Cartoon Network style, I'll go back to these guys, like Dee Dee's arms here don't need that, okay? Here, her arm is coming out of her face. That's not correct. It looks great. Here again, super great posing, looks super good because she's iconic and simple, and she can get away with that. But if you go on to a show like Motor City, these guys have very complex character designs. So if they raise their shoulder up too high, well, here he's raising his shoulders are kind of up, but they're using the shoulders are involved in all these poses. So you have to consider the style that you're using and then what's going to be necessary to get that working. So in a show like this, you need to get those shoulders involved. I love these designs. I think they're so good. So here we can bring her shoulder up more like this, and then I'm gonna give her torsos involved. All right, so this shoulder coming here too, I think this would gain a lot by having some perspective. Bear with me, I'm doing some like bad cartoon anatomy here. Bring it forward like this. Just simplify that in there. So my method is usually to go complex and then simplify, just because I've done way too much life drawing in my time. I'm always envious of cartoonists who can work very simply and find good solutions in that way. I think it's such a better way to work. Hand here. Let's going around her goggles. And in the new version, I'm going to give her wand somewhere to go. I'm going to give her like a holster for it, because dealing with the wand in the hand, I did a very bad job of that in this one. Not the best drawing in the world, but I feel like the pose is a little bit stronger because this is coming forward a little bit and line up the elbows a little bit better. This is just a better little pose. I don't know what this is. There's a lot of bumps in here. Even if this had been just flat, just straight out like this from the neck, this would have been a better decision on my part. So just very, very simple. No worries about some of these shoulder anatomy, the stuff in here. I think this would have been a better decision. Deep breath. So that's that. So she continues on in a terrible way. Look, this line just pops on. Hello, new line. Pop. Oh, look at this. Look at this belly. Why are things moving when they're connected to things that aren't moving? Beep, 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 beep. Look. Wow, her lips don't move, you guys. Oop, what is happening? What is happening here? Oop, awkward hand change. Oop, oop. I try so hard. Oh, whoo, she blows on it and it bursts into flames. Tracy's first effects. So there's my first fire effect. Too little. I think it's 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yep. Couldn't even put in the third one. I was running too short on time. Oh, her arms are down and now her arms are up again. Down, up. Ooh, so she's gone backwards in time. Check out those fire effects, guys. Yeah. Just a few short years after this, I was the lead effects designer on the production. So have faith, young animators. There is hope for all of us. Alright, so that's it. I've been going for an hour. I could trash every single one of these shots because everything is bad. But hopefully you guys have seen some of the things to look out for in your own work if you're a junior. Or you've just had a good laugh at my expense, which is also wonderful. If you guys are around tomorrow night, take a peek and see if I'm doing the Twitch thing. I'll keep you up to date on Twitter and stuff. I think I'll just be doing drawings. I don't know. It's 4 days from now. Today's Friday. So I'll just see. Maybe I'll take some requests and I'll just do some fun cartoon drawings or something for you guys. I don't know. I never have a plan. My plan is for my day job. This is just because I like it. And I like you guys. So thanks for dropping by. Like, share, subscribe. All those things internet people ask you to do. And keep trying, kids, because you can get there. You can get there from anywhere. You just gotta be stubborn.